All right, guys. So it looks like Khabib is seriously putting his foot down about the post-fight fallout after UFC 229. So, Khabib flew off the cage. Got it. Khabib's purse then was held. It's currently still held. That is a big time problem. Big time. Nobody seems to be talking about that. Not even Khabib is talking. I'm sorry, not even Khabib is talking about that. Khabib is basically saying, look, if you want to punish my teammates, then you're going to have to punish yourself, because Khabib is basically saying that he is going to leave the UFC. Now, let me get into this before I get into the details. I'll say he's saying that he's going to leave the UFC if his teammates are punished. So there are several different teammates. There's I believe his name is Zubaira Tukugov. He was supposed to fight Artem Lobov, and they pulled the fight. They pulled the fight for Zubaira, and they pulled it for Artem. As far as I know, neither one of those guys are fighting. What I can say is they saved Artem Lobov. They saved Artem. They saved Artem the God, Artem the GOAT. Man, they saved that guy because everybody is still going to be too heated at UFC Montauk. I'm sorry, Monk. So Zubaira Tukugov was supposed to fight Artem Lobov at UFC Moncton, and they pulled that fight. They scrapped it. I don't know if they scrapped it because of the brawl or what, but it's because of the brawl, but I don't know if it's punishment, put it that way. It might just be them trying to save face, to be honest, because a brawl might break out right there. If Conor decides to come to Artem's fight the way that he likes to do, if Khabib decides to come to Zubaira's fight like he just might do, then another brawl could break out. So maybe they're just trying to save a little bit of face. That might be it. But Khabib is putting his foot down. Khabib is basically saying, no way. He's saying that, look, you guys are being petty. You guys have held my fight purse. You guys are now trying to punish my teammate. And you haven't done anything to Conor. Conor's got his bread. Conor actually has his bread, and Conor has his money, and he's back in Ireland. Or maybe he's still in Vegas. He might be partying, but the thing is, the guy lost the fight. And he is probably enjoying the post-fight more than Khabib is. And it's just, I wish Khabib hadn't jumped off that cage. I really do. It's a lot of things that I wanted to see. I wanted to see Conor eat crow during the interviews, because he would have had to do the post-fight interview, and he would have had to do the the post-fight in the octagon interview and the post-fight press conference. I wanted to see all of that, but I guess it is what it is at this point now. We're already past that. So in terms of Khabib, I'm glad that he's standing up for his team. One of the guys is his cousin. One of those fighters is his actual cousin. He fights in the PFL. So it's just, I'm really, really, really glad that Khabib is just trying to use the leverage that he has, like his popularity leverage. After the fight, Khabib was having tea and crumpets with Vladimir Putin, dressed up in his Sunday best, and he was already meeting their head of state. It's just interesting. I feel like at this point, Khabib is he's flexing his muscle. He's definitely flexing his muscle against the UFC. This is the problem. This is the problem. When it comes to anything in America, you can do all the flexing that you want to do. But at the end of the day, the UFC only budges for one thing and one thing only, and that is money. They will only flex for money. If Khabib leaves the UFC and he goes and fights at Bellator, or he goes and fights at maybe a promotion back in Russia, they haven't lost any fans. The UFC actually hasn't lost any fans. That's it. They keep those same fans. Those same fans will begrudgingly continue to watch the UFC the same way that they probably watch it right now. If you steal it today, if you're stealing the pay-per-views today, but you're a fan, then you'll probably steal it tomorrow and just begrudgingly watch it. I don't think that there weren't a whole lot of fans in the audience for Khabib. You know, and the thing is, it's just like these contracts, the way that the UFC puts these contracts together, it's not very friendly to international fighters. The reason why Khabib probably doesn't care about his $2 million paycheck, his purse, is because most of it is going to go to taxes. I'm telling you guys, he's going to have to pay tax on it. He has a tax ID number. He doesn't have a social security number, but he has a tax ID number. When you're an international fighter, you use your tax ID number to pay taxes to the United States. They're getting their cut. The government will always get their cut. So the government is going to get their cut. And then when you go and take your money back over to Dagestan or Russia or wherever you go, then that government is going to get their cut. Do you see what I mean? It's twofold. It is twofold. So this side gets theirs and that side gets theirs. It's a horrible setup for the international fighters, but they're still making money. So it's not, I think in their eyes, it's not so bad. But when we look at it, it's just kind of like, dag, you know, it seems like most of the money just goes to the people who didn't even go in the fight. They weren't even fighting. But Khabib, I'm not mad at him one bit. This guy is standing up for his team. His team was basically standing up for him. The only reason why his team was fighting is for him. They wanted to back up Khabib. They wanted to make sure that you know, nobody was just jumping on him too hard. Nobody was scrapping him. Nobody was just dragging him down. They wanted to make sure that, you know, and to be honest, I think some of them might have been just trying to get in there to say, hey, Khabib, calm down. I actually don't think that they were all just trying to brawl. I don't know if I can believe that, because I don't think Conor was really trying to brawl. The way he was laid on the ground after the fight, he was laid up looking at Khabib like, dude, come on. Even in the fight, during the fight, Conor said, it's just business, bro. It's just business. Conor broke the fourth wall. He broke the fourth wall. Khabib Nurmagomedov is standing up for his people, and I'm not mad at it one bit. When a team plays together, they win together, they lose together. This is exactly what I've been trying to say about Francis Ngannou. You win together, you win with your team, and you lose with your team. You feel the ups with your team, and then when it's time to feel the downs, you cannot bow out. You got to roll with your team. And I don't know what this means for Khabib, and I don't know what this means for the UFC, but both of them are standing. Shout out to Charles Harmon. I know it's at the end of the video, my bad, but shout out to Charles Harmon for sending me this information and making sure that I knew what was going on, man. I will tell you this. I agree with you, Charles. Both of these two entities, and I'll say entities because we've got the UFC and we've got Khabib and his team. They are standing on both sides of the walkway and they are just staring at each other. Literally like, do not blink. Some shit just might go down. I'm not talking about fights. I'm not talking about brawls. I'm talking about that standoff. I'm not sure if it's going to be Khabib, but DC made a statement by saying he's not fighting Jon Jones because that guy is a steroid cheat. He doesn't care what's going on. He stood up and he made a protest. He said, if I'm going to fight Brock Lesnar or Jon Jones, there's going to be extensive testing well beyond USADA. He made that claim. And now he's not fighting Brock Lesnar or Jon Jones. That was a protest. That was a protest. I am not doing it. And now Khabib is making the exact same protest. We're getting closer than ever to a fighter agreement. I actually think we're getting closer than ever to a fighters union. Because the writing is on the wall and it's not telling a good story. Not for the fighters. I'll tell you that. Not for the fighters at all. Anyways, guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave your thoughts in the comment section.